Hey there, this video is about reactive positioning, a way to actively adjust to certain aspects of a match in order to stay the most effective. Let's dive into the topic. Hello guys, Alien Event here and welcome to the dojo. There are a lot of guides on positioning, mostly covering the basics. Don't stand in the direct line of sight of the enemies, hug walls for protection, and control high grounds for tactical advantage, just to name a few things. Reactive positioning is a way to actively think about your positioning, re-evaluating it on the fly to be able to stay alive and be more effective in your role. This should help us to be more useful in the game, fulfilling our job to its best potential. An example would be with Ana. We start out by hiding behind the front line and trying to do minor damage to the enemies, then heal up as needed, of course. As the game progresses, we start looking for positional opportunities to antinate the whole enemy team, opening up a strong position and a strong push for our team. This guide will show us how to think about these situations and how to discover potential in these situations. Before we dive deeper into the topic of positioning, just quickly reiterate why it is important. Good positioning gives us opportunities. Opportunities to save a teammate from dying and snowball into a one team fight. Or opportunities to punish enemy mistakes, get 2 early picks and win the fight. Or to lock down the enemy team long enough to capture the objective before they can touch it. Staying alive is the most important thing that we can do in most of our games because of these opportunities. Every second we spend in a bad position or being dead waiting to respawn is time spent in giving these situations up. We are 1/6 of the team and the only real part we have control of. So reactive positioning allows us to at least be there for more of these opportunities. And as we improve, we will be able to seize more of them and turn more and more opportunities into victories, eventually rising in SR as well. Alright, so let's talk about what and how we need to pay attention to. There are a lot of things on the screen during the game, and from all that information we need to be able to filter what is most relevant to us. In regards of our reactive positioning system, we want to pay attention to where the enemies are, our current objective, the kill feed, where our teammates are, any relevant map-specific terrain that we can use, and any resources that we want to use. If you need to take notes on the system, be sure to include these points. These will give you a good mind map about what you need to pay attention to. It should come as a second nature after a while if you are doing this right, but for now a post-it at the side of your screen can be a real helper. So let's dig deeper into the various points here. The position of the enemy team matters because it has an effect on our job and well-being. Different roles have different jobs, and these are: tanks need to make space and protect their teammates to win team fights. These are the ones initiating pushes. Supports need to provide healing and utility for the team, and DPS need to use their damage and pick potential to either kill enemies or pressure them and help the tanks, creating space until they can make picks or divert attention with flanks. We must pay attention to where the enemies are. Check if we have all information about all of them, or if any of them is missing or hiding. Also try to figure out where they are the strongest and where they lack defense. Look for opportunities that we can work with. For example, we play Widowmaker on King's Row defense. We see that the enemy main tank pushes too quickly, leaving some of the backline vulnerable. If we can notice this, reposition in a way that allows us to get an opportunity to land shots on these unprotected enemies, we are playing reactively, judging enemy positions and taking action. And even if it fails, we at least had the chance to try it. To sum this up, don't play rigidly, make sure that you can do your work and use opportunities. So next up is the current objective. As the game revolves around objectives, it is important to monitor their statuses. Information about objectives can help us in short-term predictions of enemy movements and preferable lines of sight setups. An example here, the enemy has one more push on Eichenwald in attack. As they are desperate about the situation, we can be nearly sure that they will push using the shortest route. As a tank player, we can lock them down from an unexpected position with an ult, or try to push them to prevent from touching the point, or just guard our DPS as they do damage to the enemies. Be sure to read your enemies as the game unfolds, as these readings allows us more precise predictions in stressful situations. If we see the enemy DPS usually taking a flank, for example, expect them to do the same and counteract with good positioning, keeping the basics in mind. Try to get a first shot on the enemy, kill them exploiting some kind of weakness of theirs, then regroup with the team. Objectives can be broken down into smaller objectives, like protecting a choke or getting control of a high ground that leads to the objective. Keep these in mind and position in a way that reacts to the enemy intentions. To summarize this part, pay attention to small and bigger objectives and use these to predict enemy movement and behavior. The kill feed is a reliable source of information in situations where we don't have full vision of the battle. Keeping an eye on the rows should tell us how many players are dead from both sides. Being reactive here means that we can control the level of aggressiveness by knowing the numbers precisely. We generally don't want to commit to a 4v6 situation if two teammates went down, but we surely want to go for a 6 versus 3 to take the objective, for example. Position ourselves accordingly. If we need to be passive because of team numbers, just poke and try to get some damage in, don't risk a lot, or else we may trickle our team. If we have the numbers advantage, however, don't hesitate to go in and claim our kills. Don't spend time on flanking and other kinds of tactical positioning in a situation like this, just grind the enemies down. Be safe as much as you can, of course, but it's more important to use your opportunity to win the fight here. As a summary, the kill feed gives us a really good idea about how aggressive we need to be. This next point is the positioning of our teammates. Always try to keep a mental list about where your teammates are. This is vital for tank players, but generally important for every kind of role. Being reactive here means that we use opportunities arising because of good or bad teammate positioning. For example, our tracer buddy draws attention by flanking the enemy team, which we can use to speed boost our team into the enemies with Lucio. React to the happenings around us. Try to predict what will come next. And of course, try to avoid being predictable ourselves. So, what was the most embarrassing situation you got yourself into with bad positioning? Leave a comment below and let us know. To sum this part up, our teammates can divert attention and force plays that we need to react to. Let's discuss map-specific terrain. If we know that the next part of the map has a lot of valuable high ground areas, like middle part of Hollywood, for example, we can position our DPS in a way that gives us control over these areas. Being reactive here is keeping terrain in mind and rotating our own and our team's position in a way that allows us to gain some kind of advantage. What happens if they push us too hard for the high ground? Drop down to the payload and push the rest of the team, creating a quick numbers advantage. They will be forced to give up the high ground and then we can take it again. So if we are not reactive and do the same thing over and over again, we are likely to make a mistake or they will have some kind of luck and get an advantage. Being reactive here throws the enemies off, giving us advantages. As a summary, keep current map advantages in mind and use it for our own benefit. The last part that we are discussing here is about resources. These are time, abilities, ultimates, and objective status, and also team numbers. Pay attention to ultimate statuses of your own, your team, and your enemies. Doing that gives us better information that we can use to judge how much we need to use in our side to win the fight. Using too much or too little can both lose us the team fight or the game. The topic of ult tracking and economy deserves its own video, but if we have trouble with it, then just try to keep combos in mind and counters of our own. If we are Zenyatta, for example, keep the trance for an enemy nano blade, for example. Don't burn it just to heal. Alright, so if you are able to keep track of the enemy ults, react to what they might have and either bait their ultimates or kill key targets before they can use theirs. We need to position in a way that aligns with our immediate goal here. The same concept applies on a different scale with other resources. We can trade time for ult charge, for example, or objective time for a stronger attack, or a battle angle. Team numbers for a better team position that allows us to hold a point, for example. Being reactive here means that we are able to get enough information about what resources are available on both sides and position ourselves accordingly. So this was a longer one, but we hope that the reactive positioning system will help you claim more small victories to build up the win rate. Keep the main points in mind while you are playing your next games and try to be reactive to what is happening around you. Self-plug time. If you like our content, subscribe and enable the bell notifications. We are back on track with our content. Yay! So you can find us on Discord to chat about the game or get free community coaching. We also do private coaching for individuals and teams offered by our veteran coaches. See Patreon for details. Hope you enjoyed this episode and see you guys in the next one.